Okay, today we have a very special guest. Today's guest recently flew out to Tennessee to take part in Big's Backyard. That is the original Backyard Ultra, founded by Lazarus Lake. This is the one out in Tennessee where records are broken. And that's because all the world's best go there, and it's not easy to get a place. But my guest today went out there a few weeks ago and managed to break not only the UK overall record, but the world women's record in the Backyard Ultra with 95 laps. 95 laps. That's 4.167 miles on the hour, every hour, for 95 hours. We speak today about what it was like for Sarah to head over to Tennessee and take part in this famous race. Sarah was a pleasure to speak to, and she was so humble and unassuming. You would just never guess how much of a savage she is round a loop. I'll say no more. I really hope you enjoy my conversation with Sarah. Without further ado, here is my conversation with Sarah Perry. So you and Harvey Lewis both teachers then?
So this is really funny. So the four women that were there, we met up before, had a little chat, and we discovered that three out of four of us were maths teachers.
Maths as well?
Yes. How crazy is that? But I always think that like backyards tickle like that side of my brain.
Must do.
Like,
yeah.
And I wonder if it's a similar thing for them.
It must be. It must be something to do with the counting of loops.
It's got to be, hasn't it? There's got to be some link there. Like, that's too much of a coincidence.
That's funny. I want to immediately just ask you about Backyard. Can I tell you my experience? My experience simply was, Biggs is going on. So there's like Dead Cow Gully, and then there's Biggs, right? There's kind of big Backyard Ultras, and or at least those that have. It feels like those where you know like world records might be broken here. There's a good group of very good backyard runners. So you'll have the assists, in abundance, and so I'm always watching, kind of interested. And because it's very boring, it's loop after loop after loop. I'd lost interest because I was like, I need to tune back in at some point. And then I started seeing Innovate posting about Sarah Perry, who was, I think you were with one other woman who, when did they drop off? Do you remember?
So Meg dropped off at, was it 92, I think?
Wow.
But that was her record that we ran. Yeah, so she ran 87 last year at the team champs.
Which was the previous world record.
Yes, yeah, the previous women's best, yeah.
And so you were going into this with a personal record, which was the UK record, am I right?
The UK women's record.
UK
so
women's record.
Blackburn had 87, so matching the women's overall record, yeah.
And so you've gone in. Wow. Okay. So now you hold the UK best overall.
Yeah.
And the world women's record for the backyard.
Yeah. Although just to mention, we discussed this with Matt. We're like, actually, Matt, do you know what? You've still got the men's best. So you you hold on to
that.
That's
true. That's true. As it happens, Sarah is actually an Innovate athlete. And I didn't get to ask her on the episode recording itself, but once we'd stopped recording, I asked her what shoes she was wearing throughout. And she told me that for the night loop on the road, she was wearing the Roadfly Max. And on the trails during the day, she was wearing the Trailfly Max. And that makes sense to me. I absolutely adore the Trailfly Max. Actually, when I'm sort of out on the move, I'm packed pretty light at the moment, and I can't afford to just have loads of shoes. And Funnily enough, I have a pair of road flies, not the Max, the regular road flies, and I have a pair of the Trailfly Maxes. And the Trailfly Maxes, I feel like they do everything. When it gets exceptionally muddy, they don't have lugs quite as big as the Trail Talon Maxes, for example. So if you needed like proper winter running shoes on the trails, I cannot recommend the Trail Talon Maxes enough. They could be my favorite Innovate shoe, but they're close to the Trailfly Maxes. I mean, I do love the Trailfly Maxes. Anyway, they're great shoes. Go to innovate.com. That's INOV8.com. Use the code Runnable, RUNNABLE. You'll get 15% off, which is not nothing. You know, when you're buying a pair of shoes, you want 15% off. Innovate.com. Use the code Runnable. Get yourself a pair of my favorite shoes, either the Trailfly Maxes or the Trail Talon Maxes, or don't go Max, just go regular. All right, that's it. Let's carry on with the show. So going into it, like, what were you thinking? So you just sort of like, oh, this is sick, I'm going to Biggs.
Do you know what? Yeah, very much so. I kind of had this just mindset of like, oh, like, look at me going and taking my space at Biggs. And, you know, it's so bizarre. Like, it's such a huge race. It's the biggest race I've ever taken part on in. And, you know, I was like, one of the things that I was really excited about was like meeting Phil Gore and like Evo and all these people that I've watched on my Instagram and admired, and I was going to be shoulder to shoulder with them. Wow. So it was kind of like meeting Lars, being in his backyard. So I was just like, I didn't have any like hopes for myself really. I just wanted to see what I could do, because I knew that also it's like the hardest backyard course. Everyone talks about how Biggs is so difficult. So I wasn't even sure if I could run a PB. And like, I talked to my partner about that. I said, like, you know, please don't have huge expectations for me, because I don't really know what this is going to look like. And I'm just happy to be there. I'm happy to take my space. And obviously I was like one of 4 women there. So like, that was that's a big deal. So I really wanted to represent women well. And yeah, I was just happy to be there.
Do you think that though there's an element of success that comes with having a perspective that's more just sort of grateful for being there? And what it makes me think of immediately is Tom Evans at UTMB this year. His story is last few years, you know, it's gone horribly for him or whatever, but he's really wanted it. And then more recently, he's had a kid, and he spoke about wanting it less. And actually going into UTMB sort of like, you know what, like I was sort of going in, I knew I was in good condition, but it wasn't the main thing in my life. The main thing in my life is my wife and my kid, and, you know, my perspective's changed now. Do you think there's something to that, sort of going in with a little bit less pressure? And do you think it would have been different if you'd gone in and said, I'm going in for a PB today? Or
yeah, I think, yeah, because I think the thing with backyard ultras is it's all up here. And I think, you know, if you see it again and again, if people saying, I want to do 48 laps at this event, or I want to do, you know, they set the bar and then they meet the bar and then that's it. Whereas I think if you just, you know, soaking it up and like enjoying the moment, then I think I don't know, it's tricky, isn't it? Because there's so many different elements to being good at backyards, because you could go with that open mind and then struggle on the day course and be timed out. But yeah, I do think there is something in it, because ultimately you're running against your own mind, aren't you? You can only run as far as you'll let yourself, really.
That's what I'm so fascinated by, I think, especially when it comes to backyard, because of the format. It is just a case of, okay, how much have these individuals got in their head?
Yeah.
Which is so fascinating to me, because I'm a runner who I like to get better and I like to perform in inverted commas, whatever that means for me. But really for me, it's about like the kind of the mental side of it. It's the psychological kind of the grit required and all that. That's what interests me. When you started doing backyards, did you sort of know that you had this sort of capacity in you, or was it backyards that sort of gave that to you?
Well, I think I remember we went to Wales for my first backyard. That was like, it was a few years ago, so they weren't huge then. It was quite a new concept in the UK. And I remember thinking that I just thought that it would suit my skill set. Like, I'm not a really quick runner, but I've got a lot of endurance, and I knew it was going to be like all about mindset. So I remember saying to my partner, I think this is like a race for me. I think this could suit me well. So yeah, I kind of did know that it was like something that would suit
You just
my
had
skill set.
you had a good feeling about it. When was that one? That Wales one?
I think it was like 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just as things were lifting, people were going back into events and stuff.
Yeah. It's
What
quite new.
What have you sort of done? Yeah, the whole
Sorry.
Well, I'm curious about your running past pre backyards. I guess like pre the last 3 or so years. You're based in the lakes now, but have you always been based in the lakes? Are you from around there, or?
No, so I'm from Yorkshire. Spent quite a lot of time in Leeds after like going to uni there. Then we moved to the northeast for a couple of years. Like that was that was an experience. I did lots of road running during that time. I was running to work and back, and that was when I was primary teaching. So I was trying to fit everything in, and like, you know, reaching burnout and all of that. And then we moved to the lakes. But yeah, I've always run. Not always. I guess I found like ultra running. I did a couple of like ultras on my own. That was how I got into ultra.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, one of those weirdos. So I was like, I wonder if I could, like, because I'd done a marathon distance. So I was like, I wonder if I could run 30 miles. I was like, oh, that was okay. And I wonder if I could run 40 miles. So I kind of just took myself off with a banana and one of those little saurine loaves, and so that's okay. And then kind of met my partner, and he introduced me to the world of ultra running, because I didn't really realise that there was people doing like 100-mile races, 200-mile races, and got hooked from there, really. Downward spiral.
Oh, I don't know about that. Yeah, it's certainly something you can get hooked on. And so you've done some pretty impressive races. What sort of stuff have you done? Is it mostly been UK based?
Yeah, so I've never. That was my first time racing outside of the UK.
Was it really?
So, yeah,
no okay.
Which is why again it was huge for me. So it's like all the logistics around that. But yeah, I love the UK trails. I think we've got like some of the best trails. You know, there's always like I haven't explored half of the places I want to explore in the UK yet. But yeah, I've like done the coastal path, Southwest Coastal Path, and recently explored the Scottish National Trail. Not a lot of races though, lots of like, self-supported things or.
That's cool.
Yeah.
As it always, it sounds to me like really your interest in running is quite an adventurous one. You sound quite adventurous, like you're someone who is like, do you know what? I'll take this banana and water and I'll just keep running for 40 miles and see how that feels.
Yeah.
That's a whole adventure. That's a day-long adventure on your own. Is that what is so attractive to you about running? Is it the more the adventure than the running itself?
Yeah, I definitely run to explore. And I always say if I wasn't a runner, I'd be outside like in a different capacity. I'd be on a bike or, Yeah, I do love like to be outside and be in the countryside. That is the main thing that fuels me. It's not like times or, um, you know, like records or anything like that. Yeah.
So when you were living in was it the Northeast, you said, when you
Uh-huh.
were teaching in primary school, and then you mentioned there that you were kind of pounding the pavements quite a lot, trying to do
Yeah.
everything, reaching
Yeah.
burnout. Was that quite a hard period for you?
I think whilst I was in that period, I didn't find it hard. It was just what I had to do, do you know? But looking
Sure.
back on it, I think, yeah, it was quite hard. I think I was really hard on myself. Like I was running like 13 miles a day, like to work and back. Um, I was like some of the things I was doing, like when in hindsight, I'm like, why was I doing that to myself? And no wonder I was so exhausted all the time.
Mm.
But I think sometimes you have to have those like seasons in your life where you like reach your limit and you then like turn it around for yourself. Because otherwise, honestly, I think I would still be coasting in a teaching job. I'd be probably sat at home watching bigs with everybody else, like watching other people do these things that I want to do from afar. And yeah, I think I needed that to kind of change things.
It's interesting to me. I think that if there's one common thread through all ultra runners, it is that they're just trying to squeeze as much as they possibly can out of life. That's what I've started to realize. I think we can compare all runners, and there's loads of different runners of all different types, and we can, I don't know if it's my algorithm, but recently I've been seeing kind of content online that's been questioning, what's more impressive? Is it going fast or is it going far? And all these like pointless comparisons and all this sort of stuff. But if there's just one thing that I can say runs true in all ultra runners, it is this like real desire to squeeze everything out of life. It's like to take this hobby to its extreme. And I think that I can resonate like massively with your kind of story of doing too much and realizing in hindsight it was too much. I'm endlessly doing this. I'm really grateful for my girlfriend, because she's always pulling me back or telling me, you do too much, and then this is a common pattern. You'll do too much and then you'll be burnt out and miserable and short-tempered and all these sorts of things because you're doing too much. And it's like difficult to balance all that. How do you kind of balance if you're so like inclined to do more? How do you balance it now? Have you just matured?
Yeah, I think I have, yeah, and I just think I'm like so much more in tune with how running feels. Like I do a lot of running to feel. I'm not coached, like I'm self-coached, if I can call it that. And I, like for example, in the run up to Bigs, I really kind of like focused in on what it was that I needed to do to get to Bigs in the best shape. So like I started taking some rest days, which I know that sounds like, I know, but actually
Crazy.
for so long I wasn't doing that. So like, I started listening to all that noise of like take rest days, do a bit of cross training, started focusing on getting proper sleep, nutrition, and like dialed in, like I would call it like the 10%, because the 90% is the running, isn't it? Like we all know how to do
Sure.
that. But yeah, I started focusing on that 10% just in an effort to turn up in the best shape. So I think I have got that balance. I think like I'm so determined to not be where I was before. We've done that and we don't want that again. But also I think having a like quite a relaxed teaching schedule helps me with that. Like I can fit everything I need to fit. Like, don't get me wrong, we all have those days, don't we, where we're like 100 miles an hour. And it's like, but I've got this to do and that to do. Like we've all got endless like admin. but I think I have found balance, and I think like I don't know. I think especially as women, we're praised for being like busy, like oh, well done for being a successful runner, successful in your career, successful in your relationships. Like that is praised, but actually, I think if you can find a balance and do the things you love to do alongside everything else, that's probably like the most successful thing you can do.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. I don't think it's exclusive to women either. I think
Yeah.
everyone generally is encouraged to be busy, and there's like this glorification of busyness. I mean, I spent almost a decade in London living amongst people who all believe they're the busiest person in London. Everyone who lives in London thinks they're the busiest person in London. And that, or you'd work with people who were like proud that they didn't take off all their annual leave this year. Like, oh yeah, I only went on a little bit of holiday this year. Like,
No.
it's like, why are you proud of that?
Yeah.
I definitely think we should praise slowing down more and appreciating that you can only do a certain amount in one day. And I think it's impressive when people get a lot done, but it's not sustainable.
No.
It's not sustainable.
Actually,
So
how happy yeah.
Yeah, how happy are you? Yeah, exactly. Do you think that living in the lakes has helped with this kind of energy? Is it something to do with it? Because when you get burnt out, it's because I think more of like what you're doing, the majority of what you're doing is draining you. Because I think my opinion, having burnt out a few times, is that the times I've burnt out have been when I'm doing majority stuff that drains me. I can do just as much stuff or more and not burn out because I'm doing more stuff I love. For example, like if I'm training and I'm running 100k a week, if all of that 100k is on the roads, I'm going to feel really drained from my running.
Yeah.
If I have 100k round here, which is like amazing, like jungle mountain trails, it won't even feel like 100k.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I do. I definitely do. And I do think, the lakes is just that kind of place where you've got this culture of like everyone's outside, like everybody has that balance, like it's encouraged to have that balance. But also, I just, if you finish work and you can get out somewhere beautiful, like that, even if it's for an hour, like that adds so much value to my life. And I think being able to just like go straight out of your dorm, be somewhere like breathtaking, that it does. It just, you instantly feel like better, I guess.
I couldn't agree more. It is this like adventure and exploration and sort of oneness with nature. I mean, the lakes is special. I don't know what it is about the lakes, but every time I go there, I'm like, oh man, I just want to be here all the time. There's something
I get
about
that.
it.
I still get that. Yeah, it is. It's just stunning, isn't it? And you can always find like a corner of the lakes where there is nobody else, or so yeah, I do. I love it so much.
You were mentioning just before we press record that you're somewhere where there's not as many people, even in peak season.
Yeah, so I'm in like a sleepy little village on the outskirts. So we're not actually within the national park, but we've still got like fellas just down the road. So it's perfect.
Yeah, that's where you want to be. Yeah, you don't actually need to be in the national park, actually, especially with the lakes. Like at all. Lou and I stayed up in like the North Lakes, where we weren't actually in the national park. We were staying at some lodges, Hope Hill lodges, and their local trails are just as good.
Yeah.
So there's this arbitrary kind of line that separates good trails from like in the national park.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I mean, the lakes is just crazy in the summer months, and it just seems to get more and more busy. There's some place you just won't attempt to run. But we literally just dropped a pin in Keswick.
Really?
And like moved out because we didn't really know like the area. We didn't know the outskirts of the lakes. But like we knew we'd always go to like Keswick or Ambleside or Windermere. So we kind of just like moved outwards and like explored like lots of the little kind of villages that popped up, which is quite interesting. But yeah.
Nice. So let's talk about backyard running. Do you think it's your like your gift? Is this your chosen format now, or is it giving you hope to go out and do like other types of ultras, more of it?
Do you know what? I'll always love point to points. I think because as we were saying, it's that like exploring, running to explore and seeing new places. Like I do love point to points, and I think that will always have a place in my heart. That's the thing I love to do. Backyards, do you know, after doing a few of them, I actually said to my partner, I don't think I'll do many more of these.
Really?
Like I know that it suits my skill set, but it's so time consuming, especially when you start running big yards, and it's so energy consuming. And you have to take quite a lot of holidays to like go somewhere and do a big backyard. But yeah, it really does suit my skill set, and for now I'm going to run with it. And I guess off the back of bigs, the big question for me is like, can I get into the 100 club? So for now it is going to be a focus. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, man. That because I guess like it's only a few years since you did your first, and then all of a sudden you're the best in the world. How does it actually feel?
Do you know what?
Have you allowed yourself to call yourself that, by the way?
No, it doesn't feel real. I think, I thought when I got home and I had time to process it all, it would start to feel real. But it honestly just feels like this crazy, like, bubble. Like this, I don't know. It doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I mean, I think you very much seem like someone who wouldn't walk around saying I'm the best in the world at something, even if you were. But that is a crazy thing. There is this very famous now format of the backyard, which has become like an emblem of ultra running. And it's just become crazier and crazier in terms of its obviously been around for many, many years. But I think in the last, 4 or 5 years, I've just seen interest in it skyrocket. And you are the best in the world. You're the best female,
Yeah.
who's ever done ultras, backyard ultras, like ever. So you could give up now, pretty content with that title.
I could give up, couldn't I? But I guess as ultra runners, we always like have that curiosity, don't we? We're always like, yeah, but how much further? What more? And I guess that's why.
100's only just there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? 'Cause it's only just there. But so my partner said to me the other day, yeah, but we have to go through 95 again to even then. I was like, do you know what? I hadn't even thought about it like that. but I just think like I've found myself in this like I don't know, like I just get to I get to experience these like opportunity. I get to have these opportunities. So like I am just excited to see if I could attempt to try and get near 100. Like I hadn't thought of all the suffering on the journey to getting there. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, and it's not only just there. I mean, it's still another 5 hours of running.
Yeah,
which is crazy. But I think that I think you've definitely got it. Am I right in saying it was your back that stopped you this time?
Yeah,
you had it in the legs, had it in the head, but it was your back.
Yeah, that's it. So I like once we passed the women's record, like I had in my head like I think we're on our way to 100. Like obviously I didn't set the bar. I was really like careful not to do that, but I was just thinking I wonder if we could, and I felt good. Like I did feel really good. Like I was looking back at the footage and I think definitely like from lap 70 I was leaning over slightly and I
Right.
hadn't realised. But I was falling a lot when we were doing the daytime loop. I kept falling in the woods, and I think that must have been because I was like slightly leaned forward, so my gait must have changed too. But it just got worse and worse and worse until those last couple of laps, like I couldn't straighten up. I couldn't run straight up
Wow.
anymore. I was basically like a 90-degree angle. I was like leaning forward and looking at the floor. And I just knew,
No way.
it wasn't sustainable. Um, yeah, I couldn't run like that.
I have to say, I did see footage of you running in, and you were bent over. I think that must have been, yeah, that must have been at about 70, 80 or something. Because it was
Yeah,
still daylight. It was still
yeah,
daylight in the video,
yeah.
and
I
you
think we're
finished at
talking
night.
about the
So
same video because that was the and yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and it wasn't like a huge lean, was it? But it was noticeable. But I hadn't even felt that. I couldn't feel
that's so
that.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I think it was just a muscle
Mm.
kind of like spasm or something. But this is really silly. But when I was resting in the day loops, this is ridiculous. I had my legs like up on the back of the chair and my head like over the armrest. So I was
Mm.
basically like completely twisted. So
Oh yeah, right.
I think that was what did it basically.
What was your setup in the aid station?
So
Did you your partner was there and
yeah, he was
was
crewing
your
me.
sort of crew, I guess.
He was my
What
crew,
else did you
yeah.
have set up?
So what we obviously it was tricky with having to fly everything in. Um,
Yeah.
we all were allocated a tent, and we could choose a tent mate. So I shared with Edith from Hungary, and she had half a tent. Her half was like super professional,
Really?
very neat and tidy. Yeah. And ours looked like
Oh
ours
no.
was just yeah, I was just so I had a couple of chairs, and the idea there was just one nice big chair to lounge on and another chair to put my feet up on. We had a little table, and that was it really. And I
Yeah.
honestly, when I looked around, because you just kind of can wander around and have a little peek in everybody else's tents. I was like, oh, everybody else has got those like reclining chairs
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
beds, and I was like, yeah, I'm not sure I've yeah, basically there was so many things where I looked like a complete amateur. People were like, haven't you got any ice? Like, haven't you got an ice bandana? I was like, no.
Did you? I swear that's the worst. That's the worst part of any sort of racing is just comparing your kit to other people's kit,
Yeah. And yeah,
as if race nerves isn't enough, and then you got to go and look at everyone else's things.
I know. And then I feel like an absolute amateur. People were like offering me salt tablets and things like that. I'm fine. I'll probably be fine.
Did you bring food?
Yeah. Well, actually, funnily enough, people were like, when people started to drop out, all of the other crews started like helping Luke out, and they did
Yeah,
start
right.
bringing like actual food because they were like, "You've only got like add water noodles and
Mm, mm, mm.
yeah." So I mean, that was definitely an experience in itself because you've got to kind of choose what you're going to take because you're quite limited, aren't you? And what you're going to buy there. So
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I got it wrong. I got it wrong completely, but
Really?
we managed. You
How
know,
did you get it wrong? Because this is fascinating to me, and I think probably to many others who are traveling. This is your first time traveling, so that's difficult. I think doing a UK race is kind of easy. Maybe you can go to a local supermarket, get what you usually get. How did you think about food, and what went down? How did you get it wrong?
okay, so I I did take lots of sports nutrition. I took lots of Morton with me, but I knew that, there's no sports nutrition that you can just have continually for like 4 days. Nothing is going to, even though, with Morton, I don't feel like you get that taste fatigue. You still 4 days, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I kind of went for real food. When I say real food, I mean like, like mash that you can add water to, noodles, sweets, chocolate, rubbish basically, but things that I could kind of dip into, lots of carbs. But obviously it's not like what we would usually be able to pick from in the UK, so it's all like new. And really I should have got a cooler and I should have got some more like fresh, like the things that people were bringing into my tent after they dropped out, things like oranges and watermelon and, but we were in a hotel in the run up. So it's like we don't have the facilities to like cook things and put them in boxes. And I think I just needed like a better nutrition plan. More variety, more fresh food. Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's hard though. Like when you go to a foreign country, even though the States, it's got everything. So it's not like sometimes you go to some mountain region and it's really difficult because they don't have everything. Yeah. In the States, they've got everything, but it's all unfamiliar. That's the thing.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
like,
you're
trying
kind of
to find matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, that's
really
it, because you're wandering around Walmart, kind of like looking at everything, like, what is this? Yeah, it is. I mean, and the other thing is, remember, the longest I'd run at a backyard was 2.5 days. Now, I think you can absolutely get away with sports nutrition, some flapjacks and some noodles for 2.5 days. But if you're going into 4 days plus, that is a different story, isn't it? So maybe I just wasn't prepped for that.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like, it's one thing going in mentally, which we'll get onto for sure. Going in mentally and thinking, I'm just gonna keep going and keep showing up one loop after the other. But then it's another thing, like preparing to go in with that same plan, which is like an eternal plan, but how do you manage the amount of food that you're going to get? Like that's a whole unknown. Did you like run out?
We did. Do you know what, actually, like Bell Buckle isn't in the middle of nowhere, so there is lots of shops.
Okay.
Like you can so Luke did just nip out every now and again and top up supplies.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like if you look at teams like the Belgians, they have like, you can hear them clattering around with the pans, like they are making like real food. Yeah, like they came in with, like they have it, like they have it nailed down. But they were coming in and giving me like freshly made pancakes and things, which is really lovely. But I mean, you remember, was it like a year ago? They had the 4 of them that ran.
Yes.
Like a world record. Yeah. Would it have been last October? Would it have been the team champs?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the camp like then? So you've got all of these different teams. Is it pretty vast, or is it actually quite small? Really?
Do you know what? It's tiny. Like you've got the starting corral, and then everybody's just kind of like squidged in, because there's only like 75 runners, so half the amount of tents, and it doesn't matter which tent you get really, because they're all like a very short distance to the starting corral. So it is actually like tiny. Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're sort of really in and amongst it. There's no real privacy. It's just it just all slowly thins out over time.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you can't, like, what we did was we put because we set our tent up facing the starting corral, and we found like we basically we put a front on the tent so that we could pull it down, because yeah, I mean there was cameras everywhere. There
Yeah, right.
was like you didn't that you know you could what we had on the tents was like a privacy tag, so we could turn it to red if we didn't want anyone to film. But you're so focused on what you're doing and you short on
Yeah.
time, you don't have time to like flip
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
tag over. Um,
You only do
so
that
yeah,
if like shit's going down badly, like
yeah,
you're puking or something, and then it's like, okay, we
yeah,
gotta figure out how to stop the cameras from watching now.
yeah. Because they would literally just you would look up, you'd be doing like eating or something, you'd look up and there'd be like
A
filming like round the
lens,
side
yeah.
of the tent. It was a lot. It was.
Yeah, fair.
I quite like to I like, especially, I think that's why I like self-supported things. I like to just go away and work at whatever it is I'm doing and like not necessarily have people like watching and filming. So that, that was an experience in itself.
Yeah.
Um, or even just like asking you strange questions, when
Really?
yeah, when you're tired and, um, coming in and asking you a question, you just think, I'm just trying to, like,
Sarah, give us something clippable. Give us something.
yeah. Like, I come up with the most unhinged things. I think
Yeah.
once I just said to the one of the guys, I was like, I don't know what you're asking me. Can I just eat?
Yeah. I think you're forgiven, especially after like 2.5 days. Um, so you get past your personal record of
Yeah.
59, 60 loops. Once you get to 60, how are you feeling at that point? Are you feeling pretty strong?
Do you know what? I think I was. I think I'd found the first couple of days harder than I expected it to be. I think because it was so hot on the first day, and then we ended up doing 36 hours on the night loop, on the road loop, because of the rain. Like it had rained really heavily, so that was kind of an unexpected
Right.
thing. But once we got past that, I remember thinking like, "Oh, I feel like I could do this forever. I feel really good, and I almost
Wow.
found like a flow. Like this is what we're doing. I just go out, do my little run, come in, have something to eat, have something to drink, and we go again.
That's
Um,
it.
like it was it was this really strange feeling, and like that's the only way I can describe it. Finding like a flow.
Yeah. When I sort of try and offer some advice to people doing like some sort of looped course or whatever, I do tell them to try and find a rhythm and to kind of basically create a template for the loop and just do the same thing for every loop. How you mentioned there you do? Am I right in saying there's like two separate? Is it like a figure of eight situation at Biggs? How does that work?
So so you've got a day loop and a night loop. So the day loop, you
Right.
go into the woods, and there's just like there's a bit there's like a dog leg, and then you come back on the same little bit, and then
Yeah.
for the night loop, it's just an out and back on the road. It is quite
Oh.
undulating still, but yeah, you just go out and back. So on your way back, you wave to everybody and see what kind of state everyone looks in.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit.
But it's
So how
quite
did
good.
you? No,
Sorry.
sorry. Go on. Go on. Yeah.
I was just going to say, so I think the Laz described, I can't remember where I heard him say it, but he says that obviously to do well at Biggs, you need to be good at both kind of
Yeah.
disciplines. You need to be good at trail running, you need to be good at road running. So he said that like the winners generally are like complete runners. That's how he describes it, like good at both things, which I think is interesting. And that like 36 block on the road. That was so interesting because some people like Phil
Yeah.
was like, that's great for me because I can get in quickly, I can do
Yeah.
my admin, this is brilliant. And then you could just see for some people that was just, this is going to be so hard on the body and mentally.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you know who also likes Innovate shoes? My mum. My mum got a pair of the Innovate Trailfly Maxes, and she needed a shoe that kind of did it all, and I told her, if you wanted a shoe that you can sort of run on the roads, but then if you were to turn and go through a gate run on a field, you'd also be fine there. Or if you were walking the dog, you could wear them. Or if you wanted to just go on a run on the trails, you could definitely wear them. It's sort of a do-everything shoe, mum. And it's the Trailfly Max. And she got a pair, and she loves it. If you want to be like my mum and love your shoes, go to innovate.com, use the code Runnable. You'll get 15% off. Thank me later. Okay, back to the show. Yeah, so how did you find that rhythm then? Did you prefer the night? It sounds like you found a real rhythm when you were doing endless loops of the night loop.
Do you know what? I think I was okay with the road, and I like on night 2. Sam Harvey came into my tent really randomly, just popped up, and said, like, you need to run faster, and you need to get in, and you need to sleep, because up until then I hadn't. And I did, yeah, and I just did. I don't know how. I don't know what I was doing before, but I just got on the road and I just started turning my legs over. I was like, yeah, I am running faster. I can do this. And then I did come in and I started to sleep. And I think because I started to sleep, that kind of turned things around for me.
Wow.
Because even just getting 2 minutes, 3 minutes, you wake up, and if you've actually slept, even if you haven't actually slept, even if you just closed your eyes, just for that few minutes, you do feel kind of like rejuvenated and ready to go. So yeah, I think that was like the turning point for me.
Wow, I think when Sam Harvey comes into your tent and offers advice, you take it, right?
You take it, yeah. It was so bizarre. It was just like, yes, I'll do it.
oh, do I? I need to sleep. Oh, right, Roger.
Okay.
That's amazing.
He was lovely. He was so nice,
I
and
bet.
I think,
Yeah.
he turned up at Biggs knowing that it wasn't going to be the race for him, because I think he's been injured. But he stayed around, cheered us all on. Incredible to see that side
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. Oh man, it's cool to see all of you, like I don't know, these events as well, because I look at Phil Gore and then Harvey Lewis and Sam Harvey, who I've actually had on the pod, had a chat with him.
Oh, have you?
And I'm like, man, these guys are like machines. And then there's an amazing picture. I almost want to try and find it. We'll throw it on the screen. There's an amazing picture which I just think is so badass, with all these. I think it's probably like the final 6 men or something, who are like they've all sort of held the world record themselves, and then there's Sarah at the front, just like still holding fort. I just thought it was such a cool picture.
It's so, I know which picture you mean. I looked
It's
at
a
that and I'm
badass
laughing
picture.
because
You need to get that framed. But
But you can just see from my face that I'm like, I'm just having the best time.
Yeah. How I got myself into this situation.
Yeah, I'm just like, that is so funny.
What's up, guys?
Woo, let's go.
So good.
Oh, so funny.
Well, it's interesting though that you said, like, when we started chatting about the actual race, you said like it was funny or strange to be rubbing shoulders next to like the likes of Phil Gore and stuff. I did want to ask you about that, because I think that would be the craziest thing for me personally, if like I even attended an event like that, is just seeing these people. What was that like? You know, seeing them, and then from seeing them at the start to actually being with them in the final, like 5 people.
Do you know what? I think you you have to kind of like earn your space, don't you, at these
Sure.
kind of events. Not that you're being challenged or that you have to prove anything really, but that's how as a like a small female, I feel like I have to prove myself, and you know, it was so surreal because like people like Phil he'd like check in with me like when we started running off on the road. He'd be like, "Are you all right? How are you doing?" And he was so nice. He was so focused, and like it was incredible watching him. Like I've literally
Really?
like made a little list of things where I'm
Really?
like,
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my dog. I don't know if you can hear him.
Yeah, that's
Do you
all
want me-
good. That's all good.
Sorry. Do you want me to give him
Sorry.
like a minute to stop?
What's his name?
Murphy.
Murphy, do you want to be on the pod?
I think he does. I think he's got some things to say.
Bring him in.
Murphy. Sorry, I don't think he's
That's
just
all right.
having a moment. He's like, "Take me out. We need to go for a run."
It's cool. Too much inside time.
What was I saying? Oh, I was saying about Phil, wasn't I? Yeah. So I literally, and I saw other people doing the same, like literally making lists of things like that Phil was
No
doing.
way,
We, like,
watching
do
Phil
that,
and
do
seeing
that.
what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Like this is how
Wow.
you do it. But yeah, it was just incredible to kind of like run with, watch, but also like have those conversations.
Yeah.
Like you spend a lot of time together on that course when you go like 4 days. And yeah, they were all lovely. Like Evo was so lovely to spend time with. Like we had lots of little chats, and yeah, there was so many
That's cool.
people. Like most people were like really lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know, can't remember what you were asking me, to be honest.
Well, I think it's just I wanted to just hear about the experience of like what it is to be riding it. I love that little anecdote of like when you're running off and having Phil Gore checking in with you and seeing how you're getting on. When he asked you stuff, like how you getting on, how you feeling, do you feel like you could be completely honest, or are you kind of trying to put on a face of bravery for your own performance as well? Because I know how important it is to kind of control that self-talk, but like what's going through your head in terms of how you're talking to someone who's broken records?
Do you know what, this is really interesting. This is what I observed at Biggs. You are running with the best backyarders, and what I noticed about these people compared to like people that are maybe not where they are, was they focus on themselves. Like they're not looking at you and wondering how you feel. They're focused solely on their own race, and they're very supportive of each other. Like I think they're very conscious of the fact that if they want to go far, they need people to go far with them. So they're almost like looking after everybody and keeping everybody in so that they are able to do what they want to do. It's like completely different to any other backyard that I've run, where people are kind of like side-eyeing you and that was incredible. Like that like the team spirit was really, really interesting.
Yeah, wow. And I guess there's an element of like when you lift someone else up and they feel good about it, you've lifted yourself up as well. And if you feel like you're lifting the whole kind of collective effort up, you're creating this wave that you can just ride.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's like a manipulative kind of, it's not like they're not doing it because they only care about themselves. Like I think there is there's surely this massive wave of kind of positive vibes that that drives the whole thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like there was so much of that. Like I think it might have been, I can't remember which day loop it is because it all kind of merges into one. But there was one day where I was really on the struggle bus, like really dragging myself around the day loop. And Matthew Blackburn and Hendrick, they kind of just like scooped me up and they
Yeah.
like chatted to me. They made sure I got round, and I remember saying to them like, "You don't have to babysit me. You've got to run your own race, because if they are coming in late with me, then that has a direct effect on their race." And I remember Matthew just be like, "No, it's fine. I'd only be like a minute or two ahead anyway." And like they were so invested in making sure I got round, and that was just so interesting to me.
Yeah.
I like other things, like at night people would like scoop each other up. I can't remember who it was now, but he he would like tell people to run behind him, and like how in cycling you would take it in
Yes.
turns at the front. So
Yeah.
I did that with them for a little bit, and we would just
Amazing.
like shout change,
Love
just
that.
because we can't. There was a language barrier with lots of us.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
we couldn't chat to keep our minds busy, so you would just kind of use that strategy to keep
Yeah.
everyone moving and going. And like there was so much of that, and there was so many things that like I keep popping back into my head where I'm like, wow, that was really cool.
It's an event like nothing, like no other event, for its camaraderie, because the format itself creates that. Even if you're going to like a low key backyard where there might be people there that are just going to do 10 loops, or there's people there that just gonna go run their first, or like accumulate their first half marathon distance or something. You still have this element of like real camaraderie through the night and all this sort of stuff, because you're just doing loop after loop after loop.
Yeah.
And on a regular kind of ultra, you might have people of different levels doing that ultra, but those who are going fast are going to be way ahead, and those who are not going as fast are going to be behind, right? So you're not going to have a chat. Whereas in this one, everyone's pretty much coming in at the same time, or around about the same time. So, they're kind of getting into these groups, and you get like one runner early on. You might have like one runner who's really looking to do 48 hours or something, and then another runner who's nowhere near that. But those two are hanging out because there's no reason for one to be going faster than the other. It's like such a unique event. And I guess like at Bigs, because there's so many people that do more than 24 hours and beyond, right? So it's just it's that, but prolonged, right? It must be.
Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? And I guess, like we were saying, people have twigged that if you want to go far, other people have to go far. So, like, look after each other, basically. Yeah, it's so interesting.
So the final kind of quarter of your race, then, like you've done your own personal record, you've beaten you've beaten your own record, you've then gone on to beat the what was the UK women's record with Meg.
Yeah.
And then you've gone and beaten the overall UK record. So we're now at 87 laps. Is that right?
87, yeah, was the UK and the world women's record, yeah. So then at that point, Meg's still in. So
and then Meg eventually dropped at 92.
92 right? Or 9? Yeah, I think it was 92. Yeah.
So talk to me about the last few laps. You're alone. You're not with Meg anymore. At least you're the final woman. And then are there like 5 other guys there, or?
I think there might have been
like
a few more. I think there might have been 7 or 8 more.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah. So I think I was very much in the zone. I hadn't been running with Meg. I'd kind of been hammering my night loops to get in to sleep, and was like very much in a rhythm. Was very happy with how things were going. I was noticing my back, but it wasn't. I hadn't kind of twigged that it was going to be a big issue. I just thought, I wasn't really sure what it was. to be honest. Like, I knew I was leaning, and I knew it wasn't a sideways lean, so I was like, well, that's good, isn't it? That's something.
At least it's a balanced lean, you know.
Yeah, I was like, well, and I guess I'd kind of, those last few laps, it was just getting worse and worse and worse. The second to last lap I did, I was like, I think that's it. I think, you know, I don't see that I can do another, because I was kind of leaning quite far forwards. And the Belgians physio came, and she gave me like a little, like, she tried to unlock my back. She said I was tighter on one side. She did actually say, if we'd have caught it earlier, we might have been able to manage it, which was like a bit, but I didn't know anyone was there that would be able to help me with that, to be honest. And like, as soon as she'd given me like a little bit of a like stretch, initially I was able to straighten up for the first like few minutes, and then I just felt like it locked, like it really locked, and I did that last lap like completely locked in a like basically 90-degree angle, and I just knew that last lap I wouldn't be going out for another. And I remember coming in and telling Luke, and I just felt this wave of disappointment, because in my head I knew that wasn't how I wanted to finish. I'd come to Biggs hoping that I could run until like I didn't have it in my legs, or I didn't, you know, like I wanted to almost be timed out to give everything. And I guess in my head I hadn't prepared for that to be one of the things. Like, it hadn't entered my mind that would be how I would stop. So there was like, and I remember in that interview, and everybody said, "Oh, you shouldn't have been disappointed," but I don't think I'd thought about how far I'd come. I just had still fixed in my mind, like, I wonder if we can get into the hundreds. And
that's so amazing.
But it had just been like snatched.
Yeah,
I hadn't like imagined that would be the case, because only a few laps ago I was feeling, or I thought, or maybe I hadn't quite processed the fact that my back was going, but I hadn't had time to process that it was going to stop, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It all sort of happened very quickly.
Yeah. Even though it hadn't, I was leaned over, you know, from like, but for me, I hadn't noticed.
Well, shall we remind listeners how far it is, though, that because we've been talking in laps or in yards, in loops. How far is 95 loops on a backyard ultra?
I think it was like 495 miles, which is annoying, isn't it? Because wouldn't it be nice to round that up?
we can find annoying roundups everywhere if we just listen to it.
Yeah. True.
495 miles.
No, wait. No, I've got it wrong.
Okay.
It's 395.
395 miles.
Yeah, that would have been 5 days. I'm sorry, I got that completely wrong. Yeah, because each one day in the backyard is 100 miles, isn't it? So.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah.
395 miles, you say?
Yeah, that's right. That one's right.
That's 635 kilometers.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. That is just crazy.
Yeah, it's a lot of miles.
Do you ever stop and think? Do you ever just like stop though and because you're a humble person and you're doing this and you've done it, so you know it's possible. So you're looking at it like, well, yeah, if I did that, you know, it's possible, whatever. But do you ever stop and just go, what have I just done? I run like 500 miles and 40. That is gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, like when you think about it, when you stop and think about it, you know, because like as a runner, you you know, if I like backtrack a bit, if I could run 100 miles in 24 hours, you know, you'd be quite happy with that, wouldn't you? So then actually when you start thinking, well, 200 miles in 48 hours, like, yeah, I'd be really happy to run that in a race. And then, you know, we just seem to be like adding and adding. So, you know, nearly 4 days and 400 miles is, like, I don't know how, like, in a lot of ways, like, I haven't processed that. Like, yeah.
In the process of doing such a long backyard, you've really killed your own personal record. So you're out there for so much longer. What specifically do you think Biggs, outside of the event itself, but the actual running and your experience of it, what do you really think you've learned about yourself and backyard running that you think you'll take on to the next few or whatever it takes to be satisfied?
I think, you know, you can't really put a limit on it. I think that's the biggest learning here. You know, you run for 4 days and actually, you know, how many more days, you know, you just know that actually I had it in me to do more. And I'm excited to kind of go back to the format and like explore what that limit is without hopefully the body being a limiter. So I think that
it's actually impossible to find.
Yeah, like what is that? I mean, you know, there's got to be a limit to it, hasn't there? Like if you look at Phil, what is the record? Like 118?
118, I think, yeah.
Like, you know, where does it stop? Like where are we actually, what is the human limit for how long you can run like that? Like I do think that, you know, we'll stretch the overall record at some point. I think, you know, Phil was saying that he had more in him when he finished Dead Cow. But I'm really interested to see, like, because we can't do it endlessly, can we? There's got to be a limit.
Well, do you think it's does it scare you?
Do you know what? No, it doesn't. In a lot of ways, it doesn't. But like Biggs was the first time that I saw people like run to their actual limit. Like, you know, they're being fetched back off course, or like they can't walk anymore. And like somebody was saying to me, like, I can't remember who it was, but because I went back after I'd finished, I went back to see like the last few running, and somebody, which was it was really nice to see it from the other side, cool. Actually, and just like chill around the fire and be a spectator.
Oh man, you had it best.
I'm on the wrong side of this.
Am I supposed to be? Oh, what am I? Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, somebody was saying to me, they're like, this isn't healthy. This, like, running until you, like, physically can't. This isn't sustainable. You can't keep doing this to your body, and it's just not right. Which I thought was really interesting. I like when you see it from the other side. I like, you know, if it was Luke, if it was my Luke running, and he was pushing himself until he couldn't run anymore, I would hate that. I would hate to see him do that. But yeah, I think I've gone off on a tangent there. But yeah, it does, like, in some ways, I guess it does scare me a little bit, but not for myself. I'm happy to do that to myself. I just don't like to see other people
I get that.
going through that.
I do get that. I do get that. I have like a response. However, though, when I'm seeing, I think if you've been there, you can see the humour in it, because you kind of know it's not all that bad. But like if I see someone really suffering on an ultra, and all it is regular suffering, it's not like anything serious, I do laugh because it's like you're doing this, you're into this, you know.
Yeah.
It has to suck for you to learn. Go and embrace how much it sucks. Like it is just funny most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess where I was getting at when I was sort of asking, are you scared, is when I think of someone specifically, actually, when I think of someone like Phil Gore, the other overall record holders, amazing although they are, have looked pretty broken by the time they get there, you know. What scares me the most about someone like Phil Gore is I don't know where his limit is, and to be honest, I don't want to make anyone close to you scared, but also someone like yourself, when there is this complete and utter curiosity for the limit, there is no stopping that. And then it does, once you go beyond, 80 or 90 hours of just like loop after loop after loop, that really is territory that like is a science experiment, and like you got to be thinking anything can happen here with the amount of sleep debt and the amount of like shit that you've eaten over the course of that 4 days, and like the exhaustion. I guess like what I'm trying to get at is like, does your own mental capacity scare you a bit at all?
No, and I think that's why I do it, because I don't have that like self-awareness. I'm just kind of like, here we are, let's do this again. And I think that is where that is the crazy that drives. Like I don't have that self-awareness to think, oh, this is scary.
But you could argue that nothing great is achieved if you had that anyway. I think you got to have some sort of screw loose, something you to be running ultras at all. So
yeah, and I think to run long ultras, run backyards, it's just so niche, isn't it? Like how many people have the want and the skill, and But yeah, I agree about Phil. I would love to see what his limits are, but I think he's very much like in that place where he's still looking for somebody to be that assist. Do you know?
Yeah.
I think that is so difficult for him. But yeah,
I think that's true.
interesting.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll be Sarah Perry.
There's such a big difference, isn't there, between like 95 and 118. We're talking another full day.
Yeah.
Like, just to put that into
It
context. That is
crazy.
I mean, I don't know. I think if you can, like we were talking about, find that flow where you're just ticking off the miles, and if nothing crops up, then why not? Why can't you run another day? But it's so easy to sit here, isn't it? It's so easy to sit at home. Like, this is what people do with backyards. You'll have heard it, you'll have seen it. People sit at home and they say, I'm going to do like 2 days at that backyard, and you get there and then something crops up, and you don't even end up doing a day. Like, it's too easy to sit at home and make plans.
Yeah. Well, I really hope that you get to a point where you can match your PR and you feel good, and you can do another 5 hours, get to the 100, be part of that.
Me too. Thank you.
That 100 club. And I'm excited to just continue watching whatever you're up to. It sounds like you're a real adventurer, and sounds interesting what you kind of are into. So yeah, keep hammering. We're wildly impressed, all of us, as much as you are as humble as you are. It is an amazing feat that you've accomplished, so well done, Sarah.
Oh, thank you very much. Thanks.
I really hope you enjoyed that conversation. Sarah is a beast, right? I mean, imagine spending 4 days running around a loop in Tennessee. I don't know. I think some things are just unappealing, but some people are just wired different, and Sarah is certainly one of those people. astonishing achievement that she has, and I really, really hope for her that things go well at another backyard and she can get that 100 loops. She would be making history again. If you've got this far and you've enjoyed the show, please leave us a rating on whatever platform you're listening to this on. It really does wonders for the show and helps the podcast reach people who you think would enjoy it like you do. So if you gain anything from the podcast, whether it's entertainment, information, education, or just some company on your run, drop us a rating, share the podcast with a friend, run the Runnable, keep showing up for yourself, and I'll see you next time.